Good morning, children. In the previous class, we were discussing tracheal respiration in insects. Okay, so in all the insects, the body is covered by thick, hard, impervious covering. Okay, which does not allow water to enter inside. Impervious covering, that is called as cuticle, and cuticle is present outside the body. Cuticle present outside and serves as skeleton. So it is called as exoskeleton, and this exoskeleton prevents insect from cutaneous respiration. Here we have taken the example of cockroach. Okay, so in cockroach, see trachea, these are the tracheas. Tracheas are the series of tubes, and these tracheas opens outside through a small into a small chamber called artery, which opens outside through spiracles or stigmata. Okay, so this is trachea. All these are trachea. Then trachea opens into artery, a small chamber, and which opens into minute pores, that is called as spiracles or stigmata. In cockroach, there are 10 pairs of spiracles or stigmata. They are the respiratory organs in the cockroach. Okay, and then all the tracheas unite together and forms a longitudinal tracheal trunk. You can see here, see there is a longitudinal tracheal trunk. All the tracheas unite together and form longitudinal tracheal trunk. Okay, then trachea passing through the longitudinal tracheal trunk is divided into fine branches called tracheoles. So this is called as tracheoles. Okay, so like this here there is a series of tubes, that is called trachea. Similarly here also you can see this is artery. Artery opens outside through spiracles, and then this is trachea, and then all the tracheas unite together and these tracheas form longitudinal tracheal trunk. Okay, so like this, then it unites together like this and forms longitudinal tracheal trunk. Okay, then this trachea passing through the longitudinal tracheal trunk is divided into fine branches. These are called as tracheoles. Okay, tracheoles penetrate into cells and tissues, which directly bring oxygen from the surrounding and removes carbon dioxide from the body into the surrounding. Okay, so this is how respiration takes place in the insects. In insects, tracheas are the respiratory organs. In cockroach, spiracles or stigmatas are the respiratory organs. Okay, as the blood is white in color and does not play the role of carrying oxygen from the surrounding, so that directly the oxygen diffuses inside. Okay, during inhalation, the air pressure in the trachea reduces so that the oxygen from the surrounding enters inside. During exhalation, the air pressure in the trachea is reduced and it rushes outside. Okay, so this is how tracheal respiration takes place in insects. Okay, and next we will discuss respiration in the aquatic organism. We have taken the example of fish. Okay, so in all the aquatic organism, gills are the respiratory organ. Gills are the respiratory organs. Okay, and for the gills to carry out respiration, it should be completely bathed in the water. That is, it should be dipped inside in the water, and it should be supplied with blood capillaries, because exchange of gases through blood capillaries takes place easily. Okay, and then in fishes, we often see fishes keep its mouth continuously, closes its mouth, opens its mouth, closes its mouth, opens its mouth. Okay, so this is because to draw oxygen dissolved water into the mouth. Okay, so the fish opens its mouth and lowers the floor of the buccal cavity and then draws water inside. Okay, so fishes continuously close their mouth, open their mouth to draw water inside into the mouth. Okay, so how it draws? It opens its mouth, lowers the floor of the buccal cavity so that the oxygen dissolved water enters into the mouth. Okay, and then it raises the floor of the buccal cavity and closes the mouth. Okay, and then the water from the mouth, so this is a mouth, children. So water from the mouth passes into the pharynx. Here this is the mouth and this is pharynx. Okay, then from the pharynx, water enters inside the gill pouches. You can see on either side of the tanix. Now this is how fish is. On the lateral side there are bag or pouch like structure that is called as gill pouches. Okay, and internally gill pouches are lined by mucous membrane which is thrown into leaf like food that is called as gill lamellae. So gill lamellae are the gills. Understood? Then the fish opens its mouth, draws in water inside. Opens mouth and lowers the floor of the buccal cavity. Then it takes water inside. Then closes the mouth and raises the floor of the buccal cavity. Then the water from the mouth enters into the pharynx. From the pharynx it enters into the gill pouches. You can see these are the gill pouches. Okay, and from the gill pouches water enters into the gill lamellae. Now the gill lamellae are completely dipped in the water. Okay, and then the oxygen from the water enters into the gills. Okay, and from the gills it passes to all the parts of the body. Okay, now so it enters from the pharynx into the gill pouches through internal branchial apertures. These are the internal branchial apertures. Understood? From internal branchial apertures into the gill pouches, and from gill pouches into the gill lamellae. Okay, oxygen is completely taken and then water filled with carbon dioxide is released out through external branchial aperture. This is called external branchial aperture. Okay, this is one mark question, children. How does flow of water takes place in fishes? Okay, so flow of water in fish, children. Water from outside surrounding enters into the mouth. From the mouth it enters into pharynx, and from the pharynx through internal branchial aperture. So this is mouth and this is pharynx. Understood? This is the pharynx. From the pharynx through the internal branchial aperture it enters into the gill pouches. Okay, gill pouches. From the gill pouches it enters into gill lamellae. Gill lamellae are the leaf-like folds inside the gill pouches, which is the gills. Okay, and then from the gill pouches again water filled with carbon dioxide enters into the surrounding through external branchial aperture. Understood? So this is how respiration takes place in aquatic organism. In Latin, gills are also called branchia. Okay, it is called as branchia. So this is called as branchial respiration. Okay, so gills are also called branchia. Okay, so gill respiration is also called as branchial respiration. Branchial respiration. Branchial respiration. Okay, so now take down. This is tracheal respiration and this is branchial respiration, children. This is flow of water in the fish. Spiracles or stigmata are the respiratory organs of cockroach. Are the respiratory organs of cockroach. Okay, children, now we have discussed cutaneous respiration, next tracheal respiration and branchial respiration. Okay, so cutaneous respiration takes place in earthworm, leech and then frogs, okay, and so on. Next branchial respiration takes place in the aquatic organism, and then tracheal respiration takes place in all the insects. Okay, and in the next class we will be discussing pulmonary respiration. So pulmonary respiration that takes place by lungs. Lungs are the respiratory organs of pulmonary respiration, which we will be discussing in the next class.